Plaster wax, and I'm going to start with our 3D adhesive. Now if we come down here, this is how the pot comes to you. It's quite a substantial size, and when we take the top off, you can see it has this little layer here to stop all your adhesive getting out. Now you're probably wondering what's the difference between regular PVA and our 3D adhesive. Well, I'm going to show you, and the best way to show you is by demonstrating that. So let's just put that on for a second. Now, one way you can use this 3D adhesive is through a stencil, and I've die cut this. So this is a die cut stencil, so use all your favorite dies as well. And I'm going to place that onto this piece of black card, and I've put some spray adhesive on the back of this to hold it down so that there's no bleed. And what I'll do, I'll take some of our 3D and I'll apply it with a palette knife. Now, as you can see, I'm spreading it through here. Now, at this point, you're thinking, well, yeah, it's not dissimilar from regular PVA, but the beauty of this is it remains tacky to the touch once it's dry, and that comes in a bit later when we're demonstrating some of the other products. Because if I peel that away, you can see you're getting real dimension there, and that is not going to self-level in the way that PVA would. So let's take the excess and we'll run that into our stencil pad, and this dimension, the textures you can get by applying the palette knife directly to the surface like that. We can even take some extra 3D glue, really get it thick. So that takes a little while to dry. So we're going to see it. I've got one that's already dry. We're going to see that in use in a second. As I said, it does remain tacky, which is absolutely brilliant, and it's crucial when we come to using some of our other products with that. So that is the 3D adhesive, again from our Effectz range by Sizzix. And I'm going to put that to one side. Now you can just clean up your palette knife, that doesn't take a second. But let's look at some of the things that we can do with this 3D adhesive. And to do that, I'm going to bring in one that I created earlier. This one has dried, but it shall remain tacky. So it's a similar kind of thing. You can see that there if it reflects in the light, as I hope it does. And what that does is, well, I'm going to use now my decorative foil sheets. There are 10 sheets in each pack, and there are 3 different colors. So that's the rose gold, that's the gold, and that's the silver. And I think today I'm going to use the rose gold. So we'll just open that up rather unceremoniously. That's just my excitement. And I'll take one of these sheets out. Now you'll notice that one side is matte and the other side is high sheen metallic. And if I place this over that, now it's entirely up to you how you burnish this. Some people like to use a brush of some description, like a stencil brush. Others prefer to use their fingertip or even a soft cloth or something like that. But with repeated application, you can get some really cool effects. And you can see that just starting to take to this 3D adhesive. And you keep rubbing that in until you get to this point. That's what we want with repeated application. You can see the 3D adhesive starting to take there, but look at how smooth that is. Look at how it picks up every detail, every ripple of that adhesive. I'll press that down again, some more by here, and you can see it's starting to lift away from the sheet. You can see on the other side. So you can use this sheet multiple times. You can place it in new areas, press it in. Using your thumb or your fingertip is really great, actually, because obviously it's soft and it gets in all those little crevices and little cracks. So there we are. That is really, really starting to take shape now. We're really starting to see how effective this 3D adhesive is, particularly against the black card like that. That is really cool. But that's what we want to end up with, something like that. And again, you can see every single detail in that. Another way of using our 3D adhesive, of course, is Oh, there's an example actually. There's a sample that shows we've actually die cut the stencil, put the adhesive through, and then used our lovely foil sheets over the top. Not only does it give us that wonderful metallic finish, but we also get the dimension, and that is because of the 3D adhesive. Now, let's take this to one side a second, because I want to show you this butterfly. Now, that was die cut using an adhesive sheet. Now, these are double-sided permanent adhesive sheets, and I attached this to a piece of card, then I die cut the butterfly, and then I've used my foil, my decorative foil sheets over the top to get that wonderful metallic finish. There's another thing you can do with it here, but I'm going to show you that in a second. So this is a different way of using it. Let's just put it to one side, just for a second there. Foil sheets as well, if you're working with home decor makes, like that, that's just around the top of that pot. It takes seconds to apply the glue, and then of course just going over with your foil sheets to get that lovely, but it's the dimension. That's what I love, and that is the beauty of using the 3D adhesive and the foil sheets together. Now let's have another look at some ways you can use these foil sheets. So this is double-sided tape, and I've just applied it to black card like that. And when I place it over the top, press the sheet in. When I pull it away, wow, how about that? And that is a great way of applying lovely borders to your cards. If there are any bits left out there, just go over it again, reapply it. That's the rose gold. Now let's have a look. Let's open the next one. Let's get some gold going on there as well. So this is the gold decorative foil sheets, and I'm going to take off the next strip and we'll place that over. So now you can really see the difference between the three colors. You can mix and match them as well. There we are, that's the gold. So you can see very different from the rose gold, but they do work beautifully together. Now let's take the silver. That's the next one in my arsenal. And we'll take away one of the sheets. Now, we have 10 sheets in a pack, so you can see just how long an individual sheet is going to last. So imagine how much joy you're going to get out of the 10. And there we are, we'll press that down there like so, just peel it away, and there's that lovely silver border. And again, we'll go over the bits that have gone missing. You can go over with a brayer, you can go over with your finger, you can go over with a soft cloth. It's entirely up to you. But a lovely, lovely finish, whether using a tape runner or, and it's a great way to add border to some, a lovely border to some of your makes as well. Now, what I'm going to do, let's take these away just for a second, because I want to show you a couple more examples of what I've done using these wonderful foil sheets and this. Now, Josh on the camera is going to have to pan out for this, but you can see here we've applied a line of our 3D glue and then gone over the top with our foil sheets, and it gives, it really brings the whole canvas to life. This is simply matte acrylics applied to this canvas, but that real sumptuous metallic finish has given it something else. I really like that piece. Next, I want to talk to you about the decorative metallic flakes. We have three colors, as with the foil sheets. We have silver, we have gold, and we have rose gold, and you can see those flakes in the pots there. They're absolutely glorious, they really are. Now, one of the ways I like to store these, I like to take these out and put them in a Tupperware container or something like this. So that's where I have them, and it makes it much easier when it comes to applying them. Now, you can apply them in the same way as with the foil sheets, but where these really come into their own is on 3D makes. So I'm going to show you something. We've shown you how to apply to the 3D glue. Now what I've got here is a die cut, and again I die cut from my permanent adhesive sheets, and I took the backing off and applied that to a piece of card. So it's a great way to bring your favorite dies into play. And then if I just peel the backing off that, we have the adhesive attached to that card. You can see it there. It's a lovely. Now let me take my foil and apply that over the top. And what that's doing, I'll just rub that in. And then once it's attached to the foil, then you can take a brush or a piece of sponge or like a kitchen scourer, and you can just rub away the excess. I'm just going to use my fingers today to show you just how easy that is. But unlike the foil sheets, this gives you a lovely texture. And the more you burnish it, the more that texture comes to the fore. So I'm just going to take that down there, and I'm going to go over there with my fingertip, like so. It's a lovely, lovely effect. And you can see this is just using the tip of my finger, and we'll get rid of all those little excess bits there. There we are, my friends, and tip the excess back in the box. And that's why I like to use a box of some description. And that is gorgeous. Now you can make a whole wreath with that. You can do so much. And one of the things that I do adore about the flakes is the fact that you can create, let me reach down here, wonderful things like this frame. Now, what I did first, I painted that with my 3D adhesive, and then I sprinkled the flakes over the top. So we've got the gold, the rose gold, and the silver. So if you have an old ornament that you want to relove, you could paint it with 3D adhesive, sprinkle on the flakes, and you can, using a brush, you can get it in all the cracks and crevices, and it really brings out the detail beautifully. Let's have a look at some other examples using that. As before with the die cuts, then over our wonderful 3D paste in the same way as we did with the foil sheets. And this is, but see how the texture comes through. So we've actually applied 3D adhesive through the stencils there to get this gorgeous texture. Very, very different from the foil sheets in the way that you use it, and the way that you can variegate it, that you can sprinkle different colors on there to get something like this going on. So those are our decorative foils, one of my favorite products, and they absolutely love the 3D adhesive, as I think we have already established. Now, let's put that to one side, because what I want to talk about next is our luster waxes. And this is a product that I've used for some time, but we've developed these specially. These are the Sizzix luster waxes from our Effectz range. And again, we have silver, rose gold, and gold. So all of these colors work together with the other products that we've just talked about. Now let me take the top from the pots. And what you'll see, and one of the first things you notice when you open these pots is the smell. They're blended with orange oil, so you get the smell, that lovely, it's almost like walking through an orange grove in Seville at the harvest time. That's a little bit poetic, but you know what I mean. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous smell. Now, let's talk about how one will go about applying this. I'm going to use a sticky notelet. And what I've done here is I've taken, remember that set that I talked about before, that's Mixed Media number 1 by Tim Holtz. A great way to bring, and this is die cuts laid over die cuts. So I'm going to take some rose gold with my fingertip, and I'm going to apply it first to that sticky notelet before applying. Now you can use a soft cloth if you prefer. I like to use my fingertip, and the reason I apply it to this first is so I don't get any big globs of luster wax on my finger. I want to smooth that out, so that helps me to get a completely smooth application. Now let's go in with a little gold this time. So you can blend these together, and that helps pick up a little more detail. And finally, we'll come in with silver, and I'll show you some great examples of how these work when you put the colors together like this. Now, that is cardstock. That's how it works with layered die cuts. But how about, now if I take this is a 3D embossing folder, and 3D embossing folders and luster wax were made to go together. Now, if I emboss this piece of torn black card, what I will get, my friends, is this. And let's have a look at the detail that I can bring out just by using our, look at that. It so brings it to life. It's absolutely marvelous. And this, again, I'm starting with the rose gold, So I'm getting right in all those cracks, bringing out that gorgeous, gorgeous detail. And then I'm going to finish with a little bit of silver over the top, just picking out a few of those areas. And then when you put this over that, you can see how you can use this in a mixed media sort of setting. It's also great for home decor. I want to bring in, now let's first of all show you how it works on cream card, because this is embossed with our Art Deco 3D embossing folder, and this is after applying rose gold and gold to the top. So it's not just about the black card. And we'll take those to one side. And I'll show you a frame. Now, this is probably one of the cheapest molded plastic frames on the market. But if I painted that black with black gesso or black matte acrylic, look what happens when I apply luster wax. Suddenly, you've got a wonderful, really, quite frankly, expensive looking frame there. Then 3D impresslets. How about that one? This is the floral frame by Tim Holtz. And you can see over the bottle as well, over the string, it's just been painted with black gesso or matte black acrylic. And then I've applied the luster waxes over the top. Now let's pull in some of cards. And this one was die cut using the reindeer die. And then there's a paste on there, painted black, and then bringing out that detail with the luster wax. This is an impresslet strip as well, using luster wax. Tim Holtz colorized dies. When you layer them up in different colors, they're spectacular. But how about just layering them up in one color, like the black, and then applying the luster wax to bring out the detail. A couple more to show you. This is Winged. This is another impresslets by Tim Holtz. Everything here was painted black before applying the rose gold. Then this one, we've gone in the background here with the rose gold and silver, and of course over the wings. And then finally, using exactly the same one, this is a heart from the Heartfelt die with a few mixed media findings on it. And just applying that, it gives you a really sumptuous metallic finish. Great for mixed media, great for home decor, perfect for card making, absolutely ideal for your 3D embossing folders. All round a wonderful, wonderful product. So that brings to a conclusion my little presentation. So we've got the 3D glue, we've got the decorative foil sheets, we have these wonderful decorative metallic flakes, and of course our luster waxes. And if you want more information about them, there are going to be some great demos from some of your favorite designers talking about these individually and showing you some makes and all of their USPs. Thank you very much for joining me today. I've been Pete. It's been a pleasure.